Hey everyone, so my father-in-law came by again and surprise, surprise, he brought another box of books with him. So I thought I would just unbox this on camera to see what we have. Let's get started. Okay. Alright, first things first, it looks like we have some Douglas Adams. This is The Restaurant at the End of the Universe. Okay, so this is the sequel to Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I have read the first book. So this is the second one in the series. I read the first book, never read the sequel though. So that's pretty cool. And then we have more. This is the sequel to that. So this is the third book in the Hitchhiker's trilogy. Life, the Universe, and Everything. Okay. And then this is the fifth book? Yeah, so this is a little out of order, but that's fine. So again, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, mostly harmless. This is the fifth book in the series, so we have 2, 3, 5. Okay, and then this is the fourth one. So Long and Thanks for the Fish. Okay, so we have 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't see the first one though, but maybe it's further in the box. Then we have, oh nice, we have some Orson Scott Card. That's fantastic. Never heard of this book though. Hatrack River? I don't know, interesting. And we have, oh, more art Orson Scott Card. Okay, this is Talvin Wandering. The Tales of Alvin Maker 4 and 5. Again, never heard of this book, but I like Orson Scott Card. That is great. I love his Ender Games series. Those are great books. More Orson Scott Card. Okay, this is Homecoming Harmony. I've never heard of any of these books before. I'll definitely have to check these books out. That's really interesting. Oh, here you go. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So there you go. We do have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's fantastic. Oh, what is this? Beyond the Far Side by Gary Larson. What is... Oh, this is like a comic book or something. I don't... Interesting. Virtual Unrealities. The shortification of Alfred Bester. Okay, Alfred Bester, that's the author. Okay. Not sure what this is. Cool, though. Ah, here you go. Very nice. 2001: A Space Odyssey. I have been meaning to read this book. The movie is a trip, but definitely a classic. A little bit before my time, so, but fantastic. Definitely want to read this book. And look at this. The sequel, I think. 2010, Odyssey 2. I'm assuming this is the sequel to that book, I think. So again, Arthur C. Clarke. Fantastic author. What is this? The Integral Trees by Larry Niven. Never heard of it. Could be interesting though. Have to check that out. Okay, we have some more Gary Larson, like comic book kind of things. Gary Larson, is that the guy who does Dilbert? Maybe. I'll have to double check that, but that name does sound familiar. And I know my father-in-law is a big fan of the Dilbert comics. More Gary Larson, Bride of the Far Side? Not sure. These look very interesting. Unique, I guess. More of The Far Side, Gary Larson. Is this like the first one, I guess? The Far Side, and then all these other ones were, yeah, something else of The Far Side. Wow, there's like a ton in here. Okay. Yeah, Wildlife Preserve, a Far Side collection. Okay. Night of the Crash Test Dummies, more Far Side collection. I can't really get to those, so we'll work on this. Here we go. Ray Bradbury, Fahrenheit 451. Read this book in high school. Absolutely loved it when I read it. I need to read it again, though. I haven't read this in, I don't know, 20 years, so it's been a long time. So definitely want to check that out. See, this isn't exactly in order because now we're going back to Arthur C. Clarke. Another 2001 Space Odyssey sequel. This is 2061 Odyssey 3. So I guess this is the third book in that series. This is getting in my way. Let me... All right, what is this? Oh, okay. More Orson Scott Card, Homecoming Earth. So that sounds like it's related to the other Homecoming book. Cool. I love Orson Scott Card, so that's fantastic. What do we have here? Larry Niven. Oh, Ringworld. Okay. Yeah, I've definitely heard of this. I didn't know that was by Larry Niven, though. That's interesting. Okay, I definitely want to check this book out because I have heard of Ringworld before, and I've heard very good things about it, so that is cool. The Gripping Hand. This is by two people. Let's see, Larry Niven again and Jerry Pournelle, I think. Long-awaited sequel to The Moat in God's Eye. Never heard of it. Interesting, though. Hey, here we go. Some Ender's Game, except this is the sequel, Ender's War. I think this is the second book in this. I've only read Ender's Game. I didn't read any of the sequels. I absolutely love that book. That's one of my favorite science fiction books. So I'll definitely want to check this out. I'll have to see if this is the sequel to that, because I know there are multiple books in that series, but very cool. More Arthur C. Clarke. Awesome. 3001, The Final Odyssey. Man, I got like all of these books, I think, now. That's amazing. Oh, what is this? The Demon? No, I can't read it. The Demolished Man by Alfred Bester again. Okay, cool. More Arthur C. Clarke. The Songs of Distant Earth. The first novel since 2010 Odyssey 2. Oh, his first novel since that. Okay, so this probably is not related to these his Odyssey series. This is probably something else, but cool. Fantastic. Here you go. More Orson Scott Card. God, I can't read that. Xenocide. Okay. I haven't heard of this book before, but I'll have to check it out. Could be interesting. Cool. The Wood Beyond the World by William Morris. No idea. Cool, though. Let's see. More... Wait, this isn't... Yeah, this is Alfred Beston again. So this is The Stars... The Stars My Destination. Okay. Joel Rosenberg. This is The Road to Evanor? Never heard of this. Cool, though. Looks interesting. That cover art definitely is kind of neat looking. Have to check that out. Here you go. More Orson Scott Card. Man, there's a ton of Orson Scott Card. This is Children of the Mind. So this looks like it's the conclusion to the Enders saga. Fantastic. And look at that. More Arthur C. Clarke. Tales from Planet Earth. Okay. Cool. Let's see. What is this? What Might Have Been, Volumes 1 and 2, edited by Gregory Benford and Martin H. Greenberg. Okay, so is this a collection of stories, I guess? Or maybe it's just 2 books in one. The House of Sorrows. Oh, okay, so it is... Okay, yeah, so it's just a bunch of different, I guess, short stories in this. That's cool, though. What the Dragon Riders of Perrin. Or of Pern, I mean, excuse me. By Anne McCaffrey. Never heard of it. Interesting. Here you go, another Ender's Game related book. Or, well, sequel to Ender's Game. Let's see, this is called Ender's Shadow. A parallel novel to Ender's Game. Parallel novel? What does that mean? Oh, so this is the very beginning? So this is a prequel, I guess? Huh. Joel Rosenberg again. Guardians of the Flame, The Warriors. Definitely a lot of old school fantasy and science fiction. These books have been, I think, in storage for the past 15 years or so, something like that. So, I mean, all of these books are going to be probably at least 15 years old, if not older than that. But that's good because my classic collection is very limited. And this is now the 3rd box that he's given me to unbox now. So I have like a huge collection now. It's crazy. It's fantastic. So we have more Orson Scott Card. This is Shadow of the Hedgeman. Maybe I'm not pronouncing that right. Hegemon? Hegemon? I'm going to go with Hedgeman. Hegemon? Hegemon. Not sure. Riddle of the Stars by Patricia A. McKillip. McKillip. Yeah. More old school fantasy, looks like. Never heard of it, though. The Harper Hall of Pern. Okay, so there was another Pern book. So this is Anne McCaffrey again. Interesting. Shadow Puppets. Orson Scott Card again. Sequel to Ender's Shadow. A sequel to the New York Times bestseller. Okay, so yeah. Again, this is related to Ender's Game, or the Ender's series. Ender's series. I don't know how big that series is. It must be really big. At least bigger than I thought. I thought it was like 5-ish books. Probably more than that. Cool, though. Let's see what else we got. Hey, Ursula K. Le Guin. Heard of her. The Tombs of Adawan? Never heard of this book, though. And more Ursula K. Le Guin. Yeah, Earthsea. That's right. That's the series that she wrote. So this is a Wizard of Earthsea. So it's probably... Yeah, so this is part of the Earthsea trilogy. Oh, so this is book 1. A Wizard of Earthsea. And then the Tombs of Adawan is the sequel. So 1 and 2. And then here you go, number 3. The Farthest Shore. I've never read these books. I have been wanting to check them out. I mean, I want to check out a ton of books. It's just, who has time to read all these books that, you know, we want to read? Time is always the biggest issue. Okay, my camera just died quickly, so hopefully it's okay now. I think we left off at this. The Elric Saga, Part 2 by Michael Moorcock. Moorcock? Not sure. So it looks like that's the sequel to the Elric Saga, probably Part 1. Never heard of it. Never heard of this author either, actually. So, I don't know. We'll have to check this out, see what it is. Oh, well, okay, here you go. The Elric Saga, Part 1. So there you go. We have the first book to that one. So that's cool. Oh, wow. What's this? Hey, Fred Saberhagen. The Books of the Gods, Part 1. So I do have in the other books that I unboxed for my father-in-law, he had a lot of other books by Fred Saberhagen. Hopefully I'm pronouncing the author's name right. So yeah, it looks like we have even more now. That's cool. He must have been a huge fan of this author back in the day. Let's see. Guardians of the Flame, The Heroes by Joel Rosenberg. Okay, I think there was another Joel Rosenberg in this. In fact, I think it was a similar title, so this might be a sequel or maybe the first book in that series. I don't know. We'll have to check it out. I'm going to have to like organize all these books by like series and, you know, get them in order. That way I have a better idea of what I have, because it's definitely not in order in the box, obviously. But yeah, cool. Wow, we have a ton of these. Hound of the Far Side by Gary Larson. The Far Side Observer by Gary Larson. It Came from the Far Side by Gary Larson. Garfield? What the? Garfield Takes the Cake, his 5th book. By Jim Davis. Okay, different. Now we have some Garfield comics. Garfield Out to Lunch. And when my kids get older, I'll probably have to introduce them to this. That's kind of neat. I loved Garfield back when I was a kid. I mean, who doesn't? I don't know if Garfield's even big anymore, actually, for that matter. Garfield Tips the Scale. Garfield Swallows His Pride. And Valley of the Far Side, Gary Larson again. All right, just a couple more books. More Fred Saberhagen. The Books of the Gods, Part 2. Okay, so yeah, we had The Books of the Gods, Part 1. And now we have The Books of the Gods, Part 2. Footfall by Larry Nevin and Jerry Pournelle. Not sure. Wow, look at that. Look at this cover art. It's like an alien elephant holding a machine gun that's taking cover and using a mirror to peek around the corner. I have no idea. That has got to be like one of the craziest book arts or cover arts I've seen for a book ever. Maybe not necessarily crazy, but unique, to say the least. Honestly, it makes me want to read this book just looking at that, because it's like, what the heck? And then we have the last book in the box is this. Larry Nevin and Jerry Pournelle again. Oath of Fealty. Fantastic. Yeah. So those are all the books in that box. I'm going to organize all the books and then kind of see what we have, you know, kind of in order. So let me do that quickly. For Arthur C. Clarke, we have the entire Odyssey series, as well as a couple other books, which include some short story collections. For Douglas Adams, we have the Hitchhiker series, which includes nearly all of the books in this series, just missing the final one. I got a lot of Orson Scott Card, which includes the entire Ender's Game series, as well as the 3 books that make up the Shadow Saga, which follows the Ender series. In addition to that, I got 2 of the Homecoming Saga books, which actually includes all of the books in that series. And the final 2 books include the first 5 books in the series of the Tales of Alvin Maker. And then I have some Larry Nevin and Jerry Pournelle books. Haven't heard of any of these other than Ringworld, which I definitely want to check out. And I got some Ursula K. Le Guin books. These are the first 3 books in her Earthsea series. And I got a couple of Alfred Bester books, one of which is a collection of short stories. With Joel Rosenberg, I got the first 6 books in his Guardians of the Flame series. And with Fred Saberhagen, I got the Book of the Gods Part 1 and Part 2. With Anne McCaffrey, I got the Dragon Riders of Pern, which includes the original trilogy in the first book, as well as the Harper Hall trilogy, which is the second book. And with Michael Moorcock, I got the Elric Saga Part 1 and Part 2. And then I got a couple more books by some authors, which includes What Might Have Been, Volumes 1 and 2, The Wood Beyond the World, Riddle of the Stars, and Fahrenheit 451. And finally, I got some comics, which includes The Far Side by Gary Larson and Garfield by Jim Davis. All right, great. So that is it. Thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully this was pretty interesting. Let me know if you have any comments or questions down below, or if you have any recommendations on any of these books that I should read first or check out, or maybe, any books that were some of your favorites. Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching.